Thanks for joining us for CBN Newswatch. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Lori Johnson. ISIS has been dominating the headlines here in America and in the Middle East. Well, another radical Islamic terrorist group, Boko Haram, is also waging a holy war in Africa. And like ISIS, they're trying to establish their own caliphate, a modern Islamic state. George Thomas has the story from West Africa.
In the dusty cities of countries in West Africa, there's growing anxiety over the spiritual and territorial ambitions of the radical Islamic group Boko Haram.
For years, Boko Haram focused on Nigeria, but now they are creating chaos across the region. We need to find a way to get rid of them before it gets worse.
Boko Haram is trying to create what's called a caliphate across Western Africa, similar in fact to what the Islamic State in Syria is trying to do. And today the violence in Nigeria is spilling across its borders into Cameroon, Chad, and Niger. Those four countries, plus Benin, have formed a regional military force. In recent days, they've killed hundreds of Islamic fighters and recaptured several towns. Still, in places like southeast Niger, where Americans Neil and Danette Childs have planted several churches, thousands of people, including Christians, are still fleeing the militants' reign of terror.
Christians are having to leave.
It's a serious situation.
It's a serious situation. Right now, as we speak, there's people on the road headed west to get away from Boko Haram.
Boko Haram started in 2002. Their goal? Turn Nigeria, Africa's top oil producer and biggest economy, into an Islamic state ruled by Sharia law.
Boko Haram is a jihadist movement that has the same ideology as all other Salafi jihadists, as Al-Qaeda, as the Taliban, as Al-Shabaab. What they want to do is to establish an emirate, an Islamist radical state, first at the northern part of Nigeria, and then push to the south and declare an emirate across Nigeria.
Since then, their fighters have killed thousands of people. In 2014 alone, Boko Haram reportedly murdered more than 2,400 Christians.
These are ruthless people who don't have any respect for religion, Christian or Muslim. They kill indiscriminately. They're evil.
And now some intelligence officials worry the group could not only expand their attacks beyond this region, they could become the ISIS of Africa. Boko Haram has repeatedly praised ISIS's apocalyptic Islamic ideology, but increasingly U.S. counterterrorism officials fear a possible tactical and operational alliance between the two groups as well. If that happens, it could give radical Islam an even bigger and growing foothold in both the Middle East and Africa. George Thomas, CBN News, Niger, West Africa.
A new video shows Islamic State militants destroying ancient artifacts in Iraq.
Some of them were from a biblical era. This video was released by ISIS and shows militants ripping protective coverings from artifacts in a museum in the city of Mosul. They also used drills and sledgehammers to smash several statues and tablets. Many of those artifacts were part of the Christian heritage of that area. Mosul is set on ancient Nineveh, the burial place of the prophet Jonah. They're also believed to be trafficking ancient artifacts to finance their bloody campaign.
We're learning the surprising background of the man known as Jihadi John, the savage ISIS executioner known for beheadings. We also have reaction from those who knew him before his conversion to Islam and from the mother of one of his victims.
I'm Barack Obama.
Officials have known the true identity of the ISIS executioner known as Jihadi John for several months. Investigators say they kept it secret as they tried to track him down. That hunt still continues. However, the identity of the world's most wanted man has now been released. He is Mohammed Emwazi, a 26-year-old college-educated man who grew up in this mixed-income West London neighborhood. His friends are shocked.
The Mohammed that I knew was extremely kind, extremely gentle.
This is James Wright Foley.
After the beheading of American James Foley in August, authorities discovered the identity of Emwazi a short time later.
To me, it's just tragic that he would, such a talented young man, would lose his way and become part of such a brutal network as ISIS.
British security firms have been tracking Emwazi for several years. He left Britain for Syria 3 years ago. How he fell off their radar and ended up joining ISIS remains a mystery at this time.
Our knife will continue to strike the necks of your.
Well, Emwazi was born in Kuwait before moving to West London.
It looks like the Department of Homeland Security will stay up and running for at least another 3 weeks. Congress is poised to approve a temporary DHS funding bill, even though it contains President Obama's immigration policies that Republicans do not like. The problem is, if Republicans don't pass the DHS bill today, the Department of Homeland Security would shut down at midnight tonight, which would anger the American people at a time of heightened terror threats. Even with a shutdown, 200,000 DHS essential personnel would still report to work.
Recent riots that followed the deaths of black men at the hands of police showed that racial wounds still linger. Some of the country's spiritual leaders are trying to help in the healing, and as Paul Strand reports, one attempt came at an event called Rekindle the Dream.
In the shadow of divisive events like the Ferguson riots, people gathered in Washington to cry out for God to heal and awaken the nation. A main message here is that at this time of heightened racial divisions, it's important to remember that God made only one race, the human race, and America, in league with Him, can end these racial divides.
That is really the point, to love one another, black, white, brown, yellow, and to be one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
What the enemy meant for bad, God has turned it around for our good.
Evangelist Vivian Dudley's ministry in Ferguson put out a call to Christians just after the first riots began.
And about 80 different denominations, races, creeds, colors came together, about 800 people. We've been worshiping and praying together ever since, people that never even knew each other.
I really believe that God's will is for us to be reconciled. God's will is for us to be united.
Not everyone agreed that this approach was appropriate. It was going to be held on Capitol Hill, but just days before, congressional staffers grew hostile and the pastors felt they had to move. Bishop Harry Jackson blames partisan politics.
An event like this, which should be a healing moment for all of America, is seen through partisan lens by some people.
There's a certain hostility now to the things of God that are unfortunate.
Unfortunate because man alone can't solve what plagues America.
Our country is in a situation where we've put ourselves into a conundrum of problems that really aren't going to be solved by the brightest minds in the nation. They're going to be solved by the grace and mercy and intervention of God.
Paul Strand, CBN News, Washington.
An American missionary who contracted Ebola 6 months ago in Liberia has recovered and is heading back to the West African nation. Nancy Wright-Bowl and her husband David told CBN News they feel led to return and do all they can to be the hands and feet of Jesus. The Wright-Bowls work with SIM, an international mission organization. Nancy contracted Ebola last summer when she was helping to disinfect doctors and instruments used in the crisis. The World Health Organization reports the Ebola epidemic has killed close to 4,000 Liberians.
They were some of the first African Americans to join the few and the proud. Coming up, we'll bring you the story of the Montford Point Marines.
A federal judge has ruled to allow a Michigan man to set up an atheist information booth in City Hall right next to prayer booths run by churches. The prayer stations offer Warren residents information about Christianity and prayer. Well, the judge ordered the city to give everyone the same access, allowing the proposed Reason Station to operate under the same terms. The Detroit Free Press reports the lawsuit was filed on behalf of a resident after his request for the Reason Station was denied. The city must now pay $100,000 in fines and attorney's fees.
More than half of Jewish students in U.S. colleges report they've seen incidents of anti-Semitism on campus. That's the finding of a survey just released by Trinity College and the Brandeis Center. The survey shows the trend is nationwide, with anti-Semitism on campus reported in every region in the country. Jewish men have traditionally been the chief targets of hate, but it's women who feel more vulnerable now, with nearly 60% saying they've witnessed or experienced anti-Semitism. The study was conducted before last summer's Gaza war, which created another large global surge in anti-Jewish feeling. Becoming a Marine involves grueling training, but once you've made it, you're part of the Corps for life.
At a time when race separated the country and Montford Point Marines, the Montford Point Marines became the first African Americans to join the few and the proud. John Jessup brings us their story.
We was called the Chosen Few, and the group of colored Marines who fought for a right to fight.
June 1st, 1942. At 1 minute after midnight, hundreds line up as the Marines recruit African Americans for the first time. They came from all walks of life: doctors, teachers, musicians, and athletes. Some were even Army officers who took discharges to join the Marine Corps and pave a new path. Their journey began with boot camp at Montford Point, a segregated training facility at Camp Lejeune where things were separate and equal.
By the time I arrived, they had switched from white instructors to black instructors. So they felt that the rougher they were on you, the more you learn how to take care of your life.
Reuben J. McNair, then a young kid from Mississippi, enlisted in 1944.
The Marines were, they said, fighting land, air, sea, water, and I wanted to be one of those people. Plus, I loved the uniform. Those dress blues, I just couldn't wait to put a dress blue on.
He knew it would be a challenge.
We had a gentleman called Judo Jones. He would go out and he would teach you judo. And you learn to flip people from one side to another.
But he had another goal in mind.
By the time I was 10 or 12 years old, I could take a .22 rifle and strike a match 25 yards away. I was very skillful at shooting. I made one mistake. I kept asking the drill instructor, when are we going to fire the gun? And the drill instructor would look at me and he said, lad, it's not a gun. This is a rifle.
After running a few laps around the platoon, holding the rifle over his head, he got it right. And 6 weeks later, McNair finally got to show what he could do.
Goes to the rifle range. And my drill instructor walks over and pat me on the shoulder and he says, young Mac, says, you've been talking about how good you can fire this gun. Today you can call it gun, you can call it baby, sweetheart. Show me your stuff. Can you really do it? Yes, sir. We goes out, starts out at the 200-yard line. Fires. I told the bulls eye up. All the drill instructors, they was around, peeping, looking. I mean, he had the little glasses out, peeping down. I'm just knocking this eye out. Goes back to the 300-yard line. I'm knocking this thing out. When I finished boot camp, I was an expert marksman shooter.
The rigors of training behind him, McNair set off for the South Pacific ready for action, but
they made it very clear that my job, or all African Americans, Marines, our jobs were to get the ammunition up and bring the wounded back.
Discouragement set in.
It was very clear that we wouldn't want it in the Marine Corps.
But African Americans were and are an integral part of the Marine Corps, and as time would tell, they would serve in some of the most important battles, from Korea to the Pacific to Vietnam. McNair led white and black troops, but the excitement didn't last long. After his unit survived a blistering attack, only the white staff sergeant in the group received a Silver Star. McNair got nothing.
There was nothing officially ever put in the record, so nothing we can do about it. And I was telling him, I said, well, look, just knowing that if you were part of 43 people and you one of those that left living, it was worth something.
McNair says faith helped to keep away the bitterness.
I grew up in the church, and I've always been a sort of a close person to God, and I just felt that He made me, and He made me strong.
And as the Bible says, all things work together for good to them that love God. The Montford Point Marines were awarded the Congressional Gold Medal, thankful for the honor, but admitting it was a long time coming.
My mother always told me, said, better son, it's better late than ever.
I didn't think it would ever come because, you know, as you get older, you know, you just think about these things that would never happen.
I'm one of the ones who started the Montford Point Marine Association. We never thought we'd see a black general, much less the ones that we see today.
You have to look forward, look to the Lord, just trust in Him.
And as for McNair, he served 20 years in the Marines.
It was so nice to get out and come home and be with these little guys. I had 3 sons and a lovely wife, and just come home and enjoy. And so it's been a great life.
Paving the way for generations to fight for their country and follow in their footsteps. John Jessup, CBN News.
And we thank them for their service. Well, up next, movies that matter. Why Still Alice and The Dropbox are important films to get you thinking.
This is Gary Lane. I've had the privilege of traveling around the world, and in my travels, I met a missionary who smuggles Bibles into restricted nations. Imagine carrying a bag of Bibles, putting it on a conveyor belt as you approach customs. Your palms start sweating, your heart beats fast. What happens next? Find out Confessions of a Bible Smuggler at The Global Lane, my blog at cbnnews.com.
The weekend is here, so you may be looking for some family entertainment at the theater.
Earlier, I spoke with Bob Waliszewski from Plugged In Online. That's the entertainment review department at Focus on the Family. Let's start with a film that made headlines Sunday with an Oscar award for Julianne Moore. What's the story behind Still Alice? Is it in theaters this weekend?
Yeah, in fact, it's actually been out since the end of last year, so that it could be nominated for Best Actress for Julianne Moore. But it was just in a couple theaters, then it grew just to a few more. It was one of those movies that we probably weren't going to touch until it got big. Well, now it's in almost 800 theaters, and with her winning the Oscar, it's very likely they'll add even more. But what's good for this discussion is for about 16-year-olds on up, this is fairly family friendly. We gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Many of our viewers will know that it deals with the subject of Alzheimer's. Julianne Moore's character is a professor at Columbia, and she's incredibly bright. She's 50 years of age, however, and she finds out that she has early onset Alzheimer's. So Alec Baldwin, her husband, he plays a role of a very empathetic, compassionate husband who really is around her. In fact, the whole family. There's no villain in this film. This is about a family trying to figure out how to deal with mom's Alzheimer's. Many families are dealing with that, and this would be a film to perhaps to bridge some new discussion or start a discussion, or how do we talk about grandma, how do we talk about grandpa. There's a lot to like in this film. There is a little bit of harsh profanities, one vulgar throwaway line that didn't need to be there, but overall I think it's deserving of that 3.5 out of 5.
I understand Focus on the Family has a new film out called The Dropbox. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, full disclosure, this is a Focus on the Family film, and I am very positive about it. But if it wasn't a Focus on the Family film, I would be equally positive about it. Now, it's not out in theaters today. It will be a limited release just next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So March 3rd, March 4th, and March 5th. They call it a Fathom event. Many of our viewers are probably familiar with those, just 1 or 2 night events that come down the pike. This one it's a documentary about Pastor Lee of Seoul, South Korea, who makes it his ministry to he built a safeguard box where women who are pregnant, who've just had their babies, could go and safely open the box, put their babies in, and then run away. And it rings Pastor Lee in his home, and he goes down and rescues. He's now rescued 600 babies. He is a Mother Teresa type person. You just have to think everything about his life is about service and self-sacrifice, and for especially these handicapped babies that he rescues over and over. Very inspiring. I am recommending our viewers go see this film. Take your small group, take your family, March 3rd, March 4th, or March 5th in selected theaters across the United States of America.
A lot of people, Bob, are snowed in. Any movies, any DVDs that you recommend?
Yeah, one more movie. We talked about it last week. McFarland USA came out. Kevin Costner plays a cross-country coach in high school. He didn't have any experience. It's based on a true story, and ended up taking primarily Hispanic runners in this agricultural community in California and took them to the state championship, not just once, but repeatedly. You know where it's going, but it's an encouraging, uplifting story.
Okay, Bob Waliszewski with Plugged In Online with Focus on the Family. Thanks so much for your time, Bob. We appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Mark.
It's been a pretty harsh winter, and imagine just how terrible it would be to get stuck outside in this icy weather.
Well, one little puppy found out. A family in Nashville was stunned to find this puppy frozen to the ground underneath their shed.
He got her unstuck and brought her in, and she immediately went to the food bowl. I would hope that somebody would have to be in extremely dire straits before they decided to just drop the puppy off.
The family plans to take the puppy to the vet later this week. That is, unless she belongs to someone else and they come forward to claim her. Thanks to social media and word of mouth, at least 50 people have volunteered to take the puppy.
Oh, he was a cutie, that's for sure. Yep.
Well, that's all we have, the time we have for CBN News Watch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com.
And tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here. You can do that on Facebook or at Twitter. Hope you'll join us next time. Have a great weekend.